from the gradient that commands to the awareness that was never depleted. Before you decided you were hungry, you were hungry. The decision came after. The hunger arrived as fact, as a specific physical sensation with its own location and quality, as an urgency that preceded any conscious evaluation. By the time you became aware of hunger, the ghrelin was already elevated. The hypothalamic neuropeptides were already in motion. The stomach was already sending its contractile signals. The blood glucose had already dropped below a threshold. The entire biochemical apparatus of hunger had already assembled and was operating at full speed. You received the report. You did not initiate the hunger. Hunger is a chemical gradient. Ghrelin, secreted by the stomach when empty, rises as glucose falls. Leptin, secreted by fat tissue, suppresses appetite as energy stores rise. The hypothalamus integrates signals from both, from blood glucose monitors, from gut peptides, from circadian rhythm signals, from the presence or absence of food cues in the environment. The result, a compelling physical signal that reads as need. The signal is not your opinion about food. The signal is not your preference. The signal is a chemical gradient with a direction and a force. The craving is not yours in the way the thought "I should eat something" is yours. The craving is the organism expressing a metabolic state through phenomenology. Extend this. Every craving has a biological precursor. The craving for sugar, a glucose gradient. The craving for salt, an electrolyte imbalance. The craving for the ex-partner, a dopamine oxytocin state generated by an attachment pattern. The craving for the drug, a dopamine system recalibrated by previous use, now generating the gradient toward its object with the same force as hunger. The craving for recognition, for status, for the specific texture of being seen, serotonin gradients, attachment system states, the neurochemistry of social belonging. Every want, a gradient. You are not wanting. You are receiving a gradient report and calling it wanting. Satisfy the gradient. Eat, fulfill the craving. The gradient resolves. The next gradient begins immediately. The satisfaction of one gradient is the setup for the next. The organism's gradient system is never satisfied for long. It was not designed to be satisfied. It was designed to motivate continued seeking. Resist the gradient through willpower. Real, available for short periods, exhausting, not sustainable as a permanent strategy. The gradient continues running. Willpower is a cognitive resource that depletes. The gradient waits. Eliminate the gradient through modification, dietary control of glucose, hormonal treatment, behavioral therapy for addiction, the long work of revising dopamine system expectations, real and partial. The gradient architecture persists. The specific gradients can be modified. The architecture that generates gradients cannot be turned off without turning off the organism. 3 exits, 3 sealed doors. In one frame, the hunger, the specific physical signal, the urgency, the direction toward its object, real, compelling, running in the body right now in some form for something. In the other frame, what is aware of the hunger, the consciousness that knows the gradient is running, that can observe the craving, name it, recognize its biological precursor, watch it rise and peak and, if not satisfied, eventually subside. The awareness has never been hungry. Not because it has never had a body, it has always had a body. But because the awareness is not depleted in the way the glucose-depleted body is depleted. The awareness has no reserves to run low, has no metabolic state to maintain, has no gradient that needs resolution. A woman was following a star. She had been following it for years. Every time she got close, the star moved. She grew angry, then desperate, then resigned. "The star keeps moving," she said. "I will never reach it." An old traveler joined her. "You are not following a star," he said. "You are following your own eyes. The eyes move. The star appears to move with them. The star is fixed." She stopped walking. She looked at the star. The star was still. Her feet had been doing the following. The craving is the moving eye. The gradient is the feet. The awareness is the star. Vijnana Bhairava, Dharana 49, contemplate the nature of infinite space, the sky, the gap between objects, the space within the body. In this contemplation, the usual foreground-background relation inverts. Normally, objects are foreground, space is background. In the contemplation, space is everything. Objects are temporary condensations of space. The hunger arises in space. The craving arises in space. The satisfaction and the return of craving, both in space. The awareness is the space in which gradients arise and subside. Not the gradient, not the object toward which the gradient points. The space, which has never been depleted, cannot be depleted. Every hunger arising in it, every hunger resolving in it. The space unchanged. Before the hunger, after, through,